Imagine two guys, Ravi and Samir. They share the exact same starting line. They earn the same starting salary, they commute to similar jobs, and they want the same basic things: a nice house, a secure family, a bit of peace of mind. On paper, their lives are identical. Fast forward 5 years. You might assume Samir got a massive promotion, or his salary doubled, or he inherited a windfall. He didn't. Their income stayed relatively close. The difference between them comes down to a single mechanical habit. Ravi continued to work for his money. Samir designed a system where his money worked for him. Ravi approaches his finances with a very common assumption. He believes the only way to fix his financial stress is to increase his income. If he can just earn a little more, life will settle down. Samir ignores the top-line number. Instead, he audits his cash flow. He sits down to figure out exactly where every dollar is going and asks what portion of his paycheck is actually surviving the month to build his future. That distinction separates two entirely different concepts. Income is simply the money flowing into your account. Wealth is the value that sticks around, grows, and sustains you when you decide to stop working. Take a look at this diagram. Think of your finances like a water tank. The pipe pouring water in at the top is your income. The unsealed holes at the bottom are your unchecked expenses. If you focus entirely on widening the top pipe but ignore the leaks at the bottom, the tank will never fill. High earnings don't automatically create security. If money enters your life without a clear direction, it drains away, leaving you right back where you started. Life regularly breaks things. A phone shatters on the sidewalk. A car engine fails. A medical bill arrives in the mail. These are predictable shocks. For someone operating with zero financial buffer, a simple engine failure translates directly into high-interest debt and a cascade of late fees that can derail an entire month. This is why the very first step in building a system is the emergency fund. It functions exactly like a motorcycle helmet. A helmet doesn't help you win the race, but it keeps a sudden fall from taking you out of the game entirely. You cannot play offense with your money until you have a defense in place. Protecting yourself from sudden shocks is the mandatory prerequisite to building wealth. Once you have that defensive buffer, it's tempting to stockpile cash in a savings account and consider the job done. But leaving your money idle guarantees that it will lose value. Look at this chart. The top number stays locked at exactly $100, but watch the actual purchasing power decay over a 10-year timeline. That's inflation. It operates like a quiet tax, slowly shrinking what your cash can actually buy. The counterforce to inflation is compounding. This line graph tracks wealth over time. It sits flat initially, then curves into an exponential climb. Splitting the graph shows the initial principle down here. The massive expansion above is interest earning its own interest. Idle cash slowly dies. Generating real wealth demands taking that cash, planting it into an investment, and exercising the patience to let it compound uninterrupted. So what happens when actual new money arrives? Let's say Ravi and Samir both receive a 20% salary raise at work. Ravi immediately routes that new money into his daily life. He upgrades to the newest phone, eats out extra times a week, and buys a slightly nicer car. His expenses expand to perfectly match his new salary. Samir takes a different route. He keeps his daily expenses locked at his old salary level. He takes the entire 20% raise and automatically routes it into his investments. If your consumption expands every time your paycheck does, you will remain trapped in the exact same cycle, regardless of how much money you make. Samir's system doesn't turn him into a movie character. He doesn't drive a supercar, and he doesn't fly on private jets. What he bought with his wealth is breathing room. He has margin in his life. If a sudden bill arrives, he doesn't panic. He makes decisions based on what he wants to do, rather than immediate financial pressure. Income pays the rent for the month. Wealth protects your time and secures your choices for the decades that follow. You can start building this architecture right now with 4 specific actions. First, track where your money goes for 1 full month. Second, build a basic emergency fund to absorb the shocks. Third, set up an automatic transfer to invest a portion of your paycheck. And fourth, continually invest in your own skills to raise your baseline value. Financial freedom isn't achieved in one spectacular move. It is built quietly through small, highly reliable decisions that push your money toward the future.